Mackinac Island might be Michigan's most famous thing, aside from being cold and having some sports teams, but I don't know anything about those. I feel like everyone from Michigan has either been to Mackinac Island or wants to go at some point. I've been once in middle school, but I wanted to go again when I'm not, 12. So, come with me to see if this place is worth all the hype. Let's check out Michigan's most famous island. I don't actually know if that's true, I'm just guessing. Mackinac Island is just under 4 square miles. In other words, it could fit 37 times inside Detroit. Also, being an island, the only way to get there is via a ferry that departs from the nearby Mackinac City.
It is 8:33 a.m. in Mackinac City. It is very cold, and I'm used to Michigan being cold, but it's very cold. There are bugs everywhere. There's a rainbow. I'm excited. Let's get on the ferry. Hey, look, it's the ferry.
But before I could get on the ferry, I had to stop by the gift shop. This is law.
Now, who would want ice cream when the weather is so cold already? I think this coast is unsalted. Look at this rocket-shaped gumball machine. I don't know what this is, but it's cool. There's a whole pirate section here. I don't know why there's so much pirate apparel, but I guess pirates like Mackinac City.
About that. While the Mackinac Island Ferry Company has a ferry over to the island, they also have a literal pirate ship that can bring you there instead. Alas, it doesn't start running until the middle of June. So I was stuck on a regular old ferry.
This sweater is correct. Cars are not allowed on Mackinac Island.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Mackinac Island. Since they passed a law in 1898, no motorized vehicles are allowed. Meaning to get around, you have to walk, bike, or take a horse-drawn carriage. All this meandering meant I missed the ferry, so I decided to walk towards the water. Pretty soon, though, I could see the next ferry in the distance. But I could also see a problem.
So it's starting to rain again. The forecast said it wouldn't, and this is upsetting to me.
That was a problem for later, though, as the ferry arrived and I climbed on board. I decided to sit on the top of the boat, so I could look out upon the lake, and distantly, the Mackinac Bridge. And then closer to the Mackinac Bridge, because we actually got to go underneath it. The cool thing about the bridge is that the roadway is see-through, so you can see all the cars driving above you, which is very disorienting. Then I decided it was too cold to stay up there, so I headed to a lower deck. Trying to move on a ship going that fast through the water felt a little bit like that scene from Inception. Eventually, though, I arrived at the island. I was a little worried about how to get around with the lack of cars. Turns out, I didn't need to be.
These people have got their transportation down.
Look at all those bikes. The first thing I noticed upon arriving was how bustling it was, while also being the most small town I've ever seen. I hopped on a guided tour of the island, and was able to see some of the sights. We passed the island's main grocery store.
It's been open since 1884 and it's America's longest family-run grocery store. Horses!
Yeah, if that was confusing to you, you wouldn't be alone. The tour guide explained that because horses don't exactly have a brake pedal, they always have the right of way. It doesn't matter where they are or who else is there. If a horse is coming at you, you get out of the way, because they cannot. Anyway, the tour continued. We passed one of the island's biggest landmarks, the legendary Grand Hotel.
And that is the longest covered porch in the world. And you might notice the ceiling of the porch is painted blue. That was a trend in the South at the time.
I got a cool shot of this horse walking by. And then I headed over to the Surrey Hills Carriage Museum, where I got a disappointing update. Oh man. Oh, and also I saw a bunch of carriages. One of them was used to deliver the ransom for the first prominent kidnapping in the United States, which is fun. The rest had been used in a variety of different contexts, from being made for the Studebaker family, yes, the people that made Fozzie Bear's car, to being owned by authors, carriage association presidents, and more. The museum also had a bunch of carriage-adjacent artifacts. They said they had a carriage that carried 5 US presidents, but I'm not convinced. Then I tried a donut, which was good, and some cider.
That's very warm. Okay, wow.
Which I tried again later, and it was good. The tour continued, past a bunch of trees, and the spookiest pathway I've ever seen. We got out of there as fast as we could, and headed to Arch Rock, which is a rock that looks like an arch. I chose not to climb the endless staircase to the top, and just walked to a side viewing area. After that, it was time to visit Fort Mackinac. I got there just in time to see a rifle demonstration.
The 4570 Springfield is the very first standard issue breech-loading firearm employed by the United States military.
He shot it 3 times, and it scared me all 3 times. Fort Mackinac is really cool. They've turned the entire fort into exhibit space, where you can learn what life was like there in the colonial era through different documents, artifacts, and first-hand accounts. They had a nice collection of hats, and other stuff too. I saw this sign, Hollywood Comes to Mackinac, and apparently it's because 2 major movies have actually shot on the island. Both 1947's This Time for Keeps and 1980's Somewhere in Time, starring Christopher Reeve, filmed at the Grand Hotel and around the island. Interestingly, while Reeve was filming Somewhere in Time, he stopped by the local cinema, which just happened to be showing the recent blockbuster hit, Superman. So he dropped in to watch. Legend has it then that the sound of the movie cut out, leading him to recite the lines from his seat until it came back, which, if true, would be amazing. Anyway, the entire fort has been preserved as it looked while in use, and it's really cool to see it all. The surrounding buildings have also been turned into exhibit space, detailing more of the day-to-day of those who took residency there.
This person had a bedroom that was directly connected to the dining room, which was directly connected to the living room. This is a prime bedroom spot. I'm jealous.
You gotta admit, the view's pretty great. I got to watch a live cannon demonstration. Man, this place is so cool.
What we're wearing is the U.S. Army's dress uniform from the 1880s. So think of it kind of like the Army's suit and tie, if you will. Any formal event, this is what they'd be wearing. But specifically, thank you, Bugle, for interrupting me. Anyway, there are 2 commands left to fire the gun, but before that, it is a cannon, so you might find it a bit loud. So I recommend either plugging your ears, or as many of you already are, pulling out your phones or cameras, depending on your priorities. Ready? Fire!
Well, that was...
I have to be historically accurate this fire.
Aha.
Ready? Fire!
Much.
And now the best part, the museum store.
I bought a magnet. I collect magnets from places I go, and this one is a cannon, and the wheel actually spins. But it was time to head over to lunch on the other side of town. Here, that means a long walk down a very steep hill.
I was looking at some of the houses as I was walking to lunch, and I realized that none of them have any driveways. It's just sidewalk and then immediately to the grass of the yard, which seems weird, but I mean, yeah, there aren't cars allowed here, so why would you need a driveway? It's just so weird to think about the fact that this is a normal town that is completely normal and functional and modern, but also, like, doesn't have a car, so it doesn't have any driveways.
I passed a store with a great name, and then went to Island Slice Pizzeria for lunch. The decor of this place is a little confusing, but I got pizza and some breadsticks, both of which were pretty standard. But, you know, pizza, so it was very good.
Very good.
I just said that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I went back to Main Street for a bit. It's still weird to see carriages instead of cars. And stopped by that grocery store from earlier. Turns out it's just a grocery store. Then I checked out some of the many other stores that line the street. I chose not to go through the 3D maze of mirrors, but did stop by Joann's to get some classic Mackinac fudge. I also got to watch some fudge being made, which was super cool. I ventured to the water on this side of the island. And decided to visit the Grand Hotel for myself. Well, at least the outside. I can't afford to go in and they literally charge you to be on the porch. I didn't know this, but the hotel yard area has a whole secret garden, which was beautiful. But it was about then that I saw something peculiar.
This seems like the wrong country, but I could be wrong, I guess. So it turns out that he heard that London was getting rid of a lot of these phone booths, and so he decided to just, you know, take one legally to purchase one and bring it back here. I know I saw less of those when I was in London. Never thought I'd see one here, though.
And on the topic of weird things, the Grand Hotel was having some event that night, and I saw a horse-drawn carriage carrying all the equipment, which is just how this island runs. But now it's hotel time. I was able to stay at Mission Point on the island, which has a Beatles-themed tribute show that I'm kind of upset I didn't see. But the place was amazing.
I'm getting flashbacks to the walk I had to take to get back to my room at the Bavarian Village Hotel. This is about an equally as long and equally as confusing walk. Just in the center of the hallway, there's a little seating area and shelves. Why? I mean, I'm a fan, but this is the weirdest hotel room I've ever been in. You've got a bed, got a cool piece of art there, got some art here, got Thor Ragnarok, got another piece of art here. You got a little coffee bar with a mirror. Hi guys. You got a sink in the middle of the hotel for some reason. I don't know why. This TV has no channel guide, and the printed channel guide is the oldest thing I've ever seen. Like, some of these channels aren't even called what they're called anymore. Also, the room key is an actual key, which is very cool, but man, this is an old hotel that has never been updated like once. I mean, I'm sure it has, but a lot of the same features are here. Maybe because Mackinac Island is kind of a techless town, not fully, but in spirit, so they're trying to lean into that, but the view's pretty nice. Got a view out the window into Mackinac. The guest directory for the hotel is like themed. It has this sort of like felt material to it. There's this like pom-pom on it. This is pretty cool. I like it. There's a lot of details here. Like the pillows are branded. This is wild. It's such a dichotomy here. I love it. So I'm walking to dinner and I find this room just sitting here. What's with this hotel and all the randomly cool rooms that are just there for no reason?
For dinner, I headed to a nearby restaurant on the water. I was able to try a few different dishes from the menu here, and they were all pretty good. To end the day, I walked to the beach and just looked out over the water. Mackinac Island surprised me. Going in, I was expecting another Frankenmuth, a small town straight out of the movies. But that's not what this is. It's a bustling, completely modern city that just happens to find a different way to live. I was shocked by how fast my brain adjusted to hearing the hooves of passing horses instead of passing cars, how I adjusted to just walking somewhere or waiting for a carriage. As someone who feels like they're always on the go, it was a very unique experience to find a place that's also always on the go, but in a relaxed and hard to replicate way. Mackinac is the only place in the US to have fully abandoned cars. And I'm not necessarily saying that more places should do that, it's probably not scalable, but I had a lot of fun in their carved out existence, only a ferry ride away from the rest of the world. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was a different kind of video for me. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and like, subscribe, share, all the things. Bye.